Peace to the family. Today I'm gonna make a little quick video. The number one dude in the minds of African people and Pan-Africanists in the world at this very moment is none other than Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the honorable leader of the people of honesty, Burkina Faso, the Burkina people. But I've been pondering a question. Can foundational Black Americans, or the term FBAs, can they support Ibrahim Traoré? Here on these YouTube streets and these social media alleys, you have a lot of persons that identify with the term foundational Black Americans, which is a relatively new term on the scene to describe people of African descent in the United States of America. They claim that this term is about delineation in regards to reparations from the United States government, the Crown of England, and the Vatican, okay? Well, the simple answer would be yes, because everybody has the agency to make choices and decisions for themselves. But I've heard a lot of brothers and sisters that are, Pan-Africanists in praxis, or Pan-Africanists by default, that are what I call set tripping, psychological social media set tripping on some of these people that identify with the term foundational Black America. Right. I think most of the problem with so-called foundational Black Americans that are seeing the power and the elegance and the eloquence of Captain Traoré and the people of Burkina Faso, and also of the other Sahelian states and other West African states and other African states that are economically, militarily, and socially rising to the top, just like cream does, right? Cream rises to the top. I think most people, from a Pan-Africanist perspective, have a problem with the copyright or the patent holder of the term FBA, which would be Tariq Nasheed. All right. Tariq Nasheed has added to the cultural dialogue on several occasions with his works of Hidden Colors, The Maroons, Buck Breaking. So he's put in some work, but he's also put in a lot of negative stereotypes and caricatures of African people and Caribbean people, other diasporic Africans, and sowing the seeds of division. I ask myself why. And most of the times you answer that question by following the money. Again, FBA is a copyrighted, patented term, right? So just follow the money. In my younger days, we would have said, "Hey man, that's an agent." You know what I'm saying? That's a operation. That's a psyop, a psychological operation, in order to cause division amongst African people. I can't definitely prove it, but it definitely appears to be a technique out of the counterintelligence program, CONTRATELPRO, which was used to sabotage every organization from the NAACP to the Nation of Islam, to the Black Panther Party, the African Organization of Unity, so-called street gangs, talking about the gangster disciples, the vice lords, the El Rookins, and even benign organizations such as the Urban League, right? So can FBAs be in support of Ibrahim Traoré? In my opinion, I hope that they would. And I think by supporting Ibrahim Traoré, that it's a step closer to them embracing Pan-Africanism, right? Because they can see where it's at. I definitely not going to tarry long in this video today. And I would just like to make this point about General Michael Langley and his recent trip to Cote d'Ivoire, or the Ivory Coast, when he met with President Alassane Ouattara and the defense minister. If I'm not mistaken, that may be the brother of Alassane Ouattara, but fact check me on that. I have a little experience in Cote d'Ivoire. I lived there for, 6 years, 7 years. So I know the government intimately there, and I know the struggles of Cote d'Ivoire, and I know how they're being played against Burkina Faso. But I dare to say that statecraft, not everybody understands statecraft and how countries are actually run. So I risk taking assumptions. I don't take assumptions in terms to what the motives of some of those West African nations are. But I could tell you this, that there are a whole lot of Burkina people that live in Cote d'Ivoire and have lived in Cote d'Ivoire for generations, right? Even the president himself, Alassane Ouattara, is rumored to be Burkina. So I doubt very seriously that he or his government has plans to thwart Captain Traoré in his works of uplifting the Burkina people. And even so, he couldn't stop it if he wanted to. All right. But back to Michael Langley. He accused Ibrahim Traoré of stealing the profits of Burkina Faso's gold and mineral resources. And Captain Traoré elegantly responded to him and basically said that, here they go again, using that old tool of divide and conquer, using a black man against another black man. I think that in his translation, I know I caught him say, c'est grave. I mean, that's bad. He said that he's a big man and he tells lies about his country, about Burkina Faso. But if you can, check that interview out. And there's also an interview of Captain Traoré as he was being hosted by the Russian President Vladimir Putin. And he also met with Chinese leader Xi Jinping, right? But I want to say this. It's ironic that Captain Michael Langley would address Congress and accuse Ibrahim Traoré of misappropriating funds of the Burkina people. And the news of today in the United States is that the head of the United States Corporation, Donald J. Trump, is about to accept a gift from the Qatari royal crown in the form of a huge jet, which would be used as the Air Force One. But Donald J. Trump has maneuvered to accept it in, under the auspices of his presidential library, and it will be housed at his presidential library. But you just think about that. It seems like that may be going down the slippery slope of a quid pro quo, okay? Which is the same thing he was accused of with Ukraine in his first term as a CEO of the American corporation, and as well as in his negotiation for a peace settlement for Russia and Ukraine. He's usurped a lot of the rare earth materials coming out of Ukraine, as well as in Gaza, in the conflict with Gaza. He said, let's make this into the Riviera. He wanted to make it into a tourist trap, right? And that's not even to mention his cryptocurrency, right? And the audacity of General Langley to accuse Captain Traoré of such things. I haven't heard him make any comments about what's going on at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, right? Oh, so with that, I say, if you find anything valuable or useful out of this message that you like, consider subscribing and share the video with your family, your friends, and your colleagues. All right. In the words of Ibrahim Traoré, homeland or death, we shall overcome.